Hi everybody, I'm continuing on with some knitting that I started the other day, and I did bits of videos on YouTube about doing parts of the sock and I learned some things in it, so I'm doing things a bit differently. I'm using two colors for much of it, and in this section, because it was a stripe, I forgot or made a mistake that I should not have just used a single ply. I should have actually done two colors, two strands of the yellow in these sections and two strands of the gray, because it changed the thickness of the sock, so it actually ends up looking like it's pulling in here, and it's distorting the pattern. So in the next sock I'm going to have to do this better, and it'll also make a thicker sock because it's two layers of wool. So I'll be alternating two strands of the blue and the yellow as I continue to knit all of this. Yeah, so I'm just going to continue on here, and I switched to a smaller knitting bowl and just put these two colors in here because they were tangling with all the other wool that I had in the larger bowl. So that's a good reason to have two different knitting bowls if you use them. Yeah, so I use a knitting ring because it helps to keep these yarns separate, and putting that one there, putting the yellow one here. Now, where did my knitting needle go? Oh, darn. Okay, take two. I found my needle. Right. So I'm putting this yarn onto the knitting ring. And I'm continuing on for 40 more rows. I had 5 rows of the two colors there, so okay, and I've done 2, so 3 more rows. Knit, purl, with the knitting ring. I found that it's easier if you put the knit stitches onto the bottom as you're working from here, so that you can just picking it from the bottom, and the purl stitches from the top, because it gives you more flexibility to pull this up to be able to do the twist and the reverse on there. So, but you know, if you got the knitting ring, try different ways of positioning onto the holes and see which works better for you. Oh, it looks like I've gone more than... I've done 5 rows already. I started there. Oh no, I started here. Okay, so this is fine. Time to stop doing that. And now I'm going to do just yellow. So I'm going to drop this one. Drop that one. And break the yarn here. Going to find a similar color to the yellow because I dyed small quantities. I think this one will work. Coffee break. Okay, so the next section is just going to be a just knit stitch, but I'm going to swap the yarns every stitch so that I get a better thickness. So that one. Knit, knit, knit. Now here I'm going to just pick up this strand just to lock the stitch in. Put that through there for a couple of stitches. Okay, drop that straggly bit. Makes it easier when you have to sew everything in afterwards, that it's not going to come apart. Knit, knit. When I work with several needles, sometimes I forget to swap the needle, and I notice that I've knit several sections all on the 2 needles, and then, oh my goodness, I have to go move them all back. So sometimes you have to concentrate, and I lose track. I just get into the rhythm of knitting and keep going, and oh, I messed it up. And you'll probably see me do that as I knit through the sock. So just a warning. Change needle. 4 rows. 4 rows of yellow. Every time I knit a stitch, I give a little flick of my finger to tighten the tension so that you're actually knitting to the size of the needle. If you don't do that, sometimes your stitching is a bit loose and it doesn't come out the right size. So giving it a tug pulls it to fit the needle size again. So. Yes, so using the 2 strands on every stitch, it gives a better consistent thickness to this. It's much better than the silly thing I did there using just a single. So, something to remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right. Okay, I'm going to stop here, take a little break, and then I'll come back and switch colors and continue on knitting. Okay, continuing on where I left off, I had just finished doing the yellow, and I'm going to switch to the gray-blue, and I'm going to do it again like I did this part of the yellow sock, where I'm going to use 2 strands to knit the solid color. I've only got 1 ball of yarn, and I'm hoping that if I make this into a center pull ball, I can pull the yarn from both ends and I'll have enough to finish this part of the sock. If not, it becomes different color. Okay, so I've got this handy little tool. I don't know where I bought it from. I think it used to be an old broom handle or something that was carved into a little winder. So if I do this, you can do it on your thumb as well, but I've got this tool, so I'm just going to leave that strand hanging there and wind this around. Got a knot in there. Okay. I try to wind this on an angle so it goes from top to the bottom of the ball. So it winds on neatly. Okay. All right, now I should be able to pull from both ends of the ball. So Put one in there, one through here. And now I can continue knitting. So oh, wrong sock. Oops. Okay. Oh, lost that. First couple of stitches are always a bit tricky to get them tension going on this stuff, so yeah. Well, let's see, start with that one maybe. That one, no, that one, no, that one I'm going to pull both of these through just to get it caught in there. And that one, and that one. Okay. I think that's working. So Oh, these little ends get in the way. Okay. No. Put that going back in place. Um, Now looks like it's loose, but I'll be able to tighten it afterwards. So I'm just going to not worry about these holes that are left in the knitting at the moment, because you're using different colors and different strands. It can all get fixed later. 1, 2, 3. I think it was 3, or was it 4? One, two, three, four. 4 rows. Yes. One more row of gray, and then I switch color to one of them. Okay, I'm at the section where I change the color, and what am I doing next? What am I doing next? Oh, the yellow again. Okay, so Where's the yellow? I think it might have been this one. No, I think it was that one. So I'll drop one of these grays. Stuff this end back into the hole because I'll use it. Oh, well, maybe I won't. I just pulled off the wrong one. Oh dear. I'll break that too. You know, I've been watching other knitting videos, and a lot of the knitting is so perfect. And people show the perfect version of it. They've probably done a lot of cropping in the videos to get things, because I don't believe that everybody's all that perfect. But I'm not going to do that, because these are things that you're going to run into as a knitter. You go, oh, I used the wrong color thread. What do I do now? And so that's just how it is. My knitting is what it is. And as I work along, you'll see, oh, that's how she solved that problem, or oh, isn't she being silly? But, you know, it takes everybody time to learn things, and every time you do something, you're working with different material, and the situation's different, so you have to know how to adapt. And everything does not have to be absolutely pristine and perfect, because it's handmade. You know, you've done it with your hands. It isn't a machine. And just be happy with the work that you've done and what you've learned, and the next project you will do better. Now, where's my end? Where am I at? Okay. Oh, that's what I've done wrong, is I forgot to switch needles back here. So this really needs to be on that needle. See, as I said, when you do something like that, you have to figure out, what have I done wrong? Because I'm going in a circle, I forget to change needles sometimes, so that's what I did there. Okay, now I have started with a new needle. And this is going to be knit yellow. And knit blue. Knit blue. Now the next knit yellow one, I'm going to put these two yellows together to tie it in. So easier if I take that off for a second. Okay. So yellow and yellow I'm picking up. Yellow and the blue and blue I'm picking up. Okay, there. Now I'll put these guys back onto the needle or onto the ring. Okay, you want to be there, you stay there. And this one onto that ring. Fix the tensions on those again, and I should be on my way. Okay. Yellow. Blue. Yellow. Blue. Yellow. Blue. Yellow. There. What happened there? I think here I dropped a stitch. There we go. Ooh, that's why it's not working. It hopped over. I must be getting tired. Oh, I must be getting tired. I do this little bit and I'm going to stop. Knitting is something you have to be really careful about, repetitive stress injuries and stuff, because your hands are doing such fine finger movements, and you have to, so I try to just, usually only last about half an hour and I have to take a break and do something else. Otherwise, you can continue going on and on and on, and then you're in trouble. So my son studied sports medicine, and he's given me exercises and things I can do to help with that, because I have had carpal tunnel before and stuff. So I think I'll post links, copy what he's given me, and I think I'll post links on my website at some point. So for others who run into the same problem, there are things you can do to fix that. One is, don't get obsessive and knit all day. Okay, yarns are starting to twist. It's definitely time to stop. Yep, I'm going to stop right here and come back to this a bit later.